This is Bruce at fighterkitecentral.com, and recently I've had some emails asking about what I take with me when I go flying, and especially if I'm going to fly in any competition for line touch, which is the kind of competition I like the best for fighter kiting. So I thought I'd give a short description of what I take. It's much more than I need to take, but so be it. I usually take 5 spools of line. Each is wrapped with a different line, different thickness of line for different wind conditions. Of these 5, all but one is a spectra braided line, so the other is a cotton line. These I've attached with, this is just a box that I bought from Target, I think. It's a Rubbermaid box. It's hinged. It's about 23 or 4 inches wide and about 17 or 18 inches deep. And I just drilled some holes in it and inserted a wire tie that had a circle on the end, and I just cut the circle to accept this piece of bungee cord, and that's how I attach them. Very simple, crude, ugly, but it works. So what do I take? Well, I take a lot of kites, and I'll go over that in a minute. But also, I take a few other things that, well, let's see how we're going to do this. Maybe like this. One of the things that I found to be very helpful is a kit of things that you might need if you break a kite or want to adjust a kite. And it's got bridle line, a pair of collapsible scissors, a collapsible Leatherman tool, tape measure, pieces of tape, beads, a tube of contact cement, let's see, toothpicks, pins, needles to thread bridles, and super glue, tubes of that, razor blades for cutting whatever you need to cut. So I'm pretty quite prepared for just about any disaster that I need to repair. And I take this kit, and again I just drill holes and put bungee cords in here and attach it to the side of the box. I take a wind gauge, which I have wrapped in a Ziploc bag to protect it from sand and water. But it's a wind gauge. I can tell what the wind speed is. And this has turned out to be very important. I never like to use it, but it's a small bottle of peroxide and a tube of antibacterial cream and some Band-Aids for those times when you just get too many cuts on your hands from flying. And that's what I keep inside in addition to my kites. Now when I go to a competition, line touch, or whenever I'm flying actually, I have these plastic bags that I put my kites in. On each bag I mark what the diameter of the bow is of the particular kites in the bag, and also in some cases I also include the length, in this case 26 inch, the length of the bow of the kite, because with that knowledge I am able to determine whether a particular kite would work well in the wind conditions that are at hand. So I have divided all my kites into these bags that I just stack in here. But I take a lot of kites. This one's got a bag full of kites with a 23-inch bow of 0.6 diameter, and these are kites that they might have a carbon fiber spine like this does, might have a bamboo spine, might have multiple battens made of different materials, but they're all generally going to fly in a wind range that's fairly close to each other. So when I'm faced with a wind that, and I got to compete, I want to have the opportunity to select as many kites as I can, or select from as many choices as I can, to get the one that is the closest to the wind conditions that I have to fly in. And hopefully that'll increase my ability to win a few extra points, or maybe even a match or two, who knows. Each of my reels, I include on it, I just stick on here, it's a putty-like material. It's plastic, I think, that's rubber, it stretches, rubber or plastic material. And this is material that I use for adding weight to a kite if I want to do experimentation, or if the kite needs it, the extra weight, in order to perform the way I want it to. This material is really sold in art and craft departments, and sometimes the office supply departments of stores. And its purpose really is to, you put it on the wall and then you stick a poster to it, so you can adhere the poster to the wall without damaging the paint on the wall and without using tape. And you get a lot of it in the package, and it's fairly inexpensive. It comes in a lot of different colors. But I put that on every one of my reels, so I have it handy in case I need it. I also mark on each reel, well, my name, but also what's on the reel, what kind of line it is, what weight it is, and that's about it. I think that the most important thing for me is knowing that I have a selection of kites within a given general wind range that are made, they're all different and they all fly different, even though they may be made from the same pattern. Many of them are different patterns, but they're all in the same general size range, and it gives me an opportunity to test them before I fly them and see which one I like best, or if I can tell any difference, in fact. Some are vented, some are not, some are kites with multiple battens, some with only one batten. And so I have probably a total of 80 kites or 60 kites, something like that, in my box that I carry to any competition and any flying that I'm going to do. One thing that sometimes is useful, and I sometimes, but not always, carry it, is a bag of chalk. And chalk is something that can really help smooth out the jerkiness of various lines because of your hands getting sweaty. I just put my hand in there, get some of the chalk dust on it, rub it around, and it takes the moisture out of your hands, and it allows the line to slip through your fingers very uniformly, which is extremely helpful. Steve Bateman, one of the flyers I fly with in some competitions, he's a fabulous kite maker and a fabulous kite flyer, but he's also a rock climber, and he uses this all the time when he's in competition, and that's where I learned about this, is from Steve. So I hope that this gives you some idea of what you might want to take with you in your kite flying adventures.